how to land your first product manager on H1B. And today we are glad to have Dr. Nancy Li with us. Dr. Nancy Li is a director of product, a mentor, a YouTuber, and was recently interviewed by Forbes China. She moved to US with $800 in her pocket, soon became the youngest engineering Ph.D, and then transitioned to a product manager. Within 4 years, she was promoted to the director of product. She has held leadership roles at Verizon, COX Communications, Shell Oil. She is also an alumnus of BU and MIT. Her goal is to help people transition from worker bee to product managers and business leader and help them to get compensation they want. So here are the links for Dr. Nancy Li's YouTube and website. So here are some points we are going to cover today. Basically, we are going to cover 5 points. So what does a product manager do? What skills are required for a successful product manager career? What is PM's career different from other careers? How to transition from engineering to PM? And what is the best strategy to land a PM job well on H1B? So sooner I will hand it over to Dr. Nancy Li, and the sharing will be around 45 minutes today. And after that, we will have a Q&A session. So feel free to type your question in the chat box. And finally, we are going to have 2 lucky draw today, and we will send you Amazon gift card. So please stay to the end of the sharing. So right now, I will pass it to Dr. Nancy Li.
Awesome. All right. Hey guys, this is Dr. Nancy Li. Welcome, welcome. And let me start sharing my screen. And for lots of you guys who are already my YouTube subscribers, welcome to the channel again. So today we are going live to talk about how can you land your first product manager job offer. And let me get started to share my screen. One sec. Cool. Great. If you can see my screen, let me know. One sec. Hold on. Oh, you need to enable me to share my screen. Jingwen.
Oh, me?
Yeah. You need to enable everyone to share screen right now.
Where is the setting? How can I see?
No, did you see share screen?
Yeah.
Next to share screen, there's a triangle. You should click share screen. Enable everyone to share screen.
I don't see the option.
Can you make me a host? So next to share screen, you should have a triangle where it said enable everyone, multiple presenter.
I just make you host.
Okay.
You
Let me
share.
also, okay, great.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So if you guys can see my screen, give me a thumb up. Cool. All right. Awesome. All right. So let's get started. All right. Let me do the full screen. Present. At the same time, feel free to jump in to ask me any questions. If you have been to any of my talk, you know that all my talks are very engaging. You know this. So I love you guys to comment directly on the chat of like the YouTube or directly through the 职挂云帆 channel, and feel free to ask any questions, jump in to ask questions as well. So I love interactions. All right, great. So let's get started. So today we will talk about how to land your first product manager job under the new H1B policy. My name is Dr. Nancy Li. All right, so something very quick I want to share with all of you guys is that at the end of this talk, I want you to feel confident that you're using the right strategy to bridge the gap and using the right marketing strategy to sell yourself to the interviewer and also package your prior experience. And even if you need H1B sponsorship, just like most of us, make sure to stay until the end of this talk because we have a bonus and with a product manager jobs referral at TikTok. And recently a student of mine got an offer as a product manager at TikTok. And who is one of the almost like 10 plus product managers in the US in TikTok. So I'm very happy and proud to announce his offer and also share with you the job referrals we had at TikTok. At the same time, and by the way, I am going to turn off my camera to reduce the distractions, and I will come back to the cameras towards the end of this talk as well. I think it's better for the viewer experience. All right, so camera is off. Great, cool. And another thing is that I remind everybody to stay until the end this talk because we have 2 Amazon gift cards giveaway. So whoever stay until the end during the Q&A session, we're going to do raffles to pick the favorite our audience to receive Amazon gift cards. Okay, stay until the end. All right, and something I want to remind everybody is that you need to start to build your brand by sharing on LinkedIn and social media. If you have been to any of my talks about how to get promoted as a minority woman, I emphasize several times that we need to start to promote ourselves and by building your brand even before you start looking for jobs. So using social media and LinkedIn is one of the best way to promote your brand. So if you learn anything today, that's really impactful or something you love to share with the community, feel free to share on LinkedIn and Instagram and tag me at Dr. Nancy Lee. All right, so let me ask you this question. Why are you here today? Comment on the chat 1, 2, 3. If that's the reason you're here today, let me know. So you're here today was because you don't know what the roles and responsibilities of a product manager. So you want to know if it's the right career for you. If 1 is you, comment 1 in the chat. Number 2, you're here today was because you don't have the product manager experience. So you want to know how to bridge the gap. If 2 is you, comment on the chat or directly on the YouTube side channel, and I can see your answer as well. And number 3, you're here today was because you're worried about the new H-1B rules and what strategy should you take. So come on the chat. So 3 reasons you're here today, 1, 2, 3, or maybe the 4th reason why you're here today could be something different. All right, so come on the chat. Let me also come live. I'm also live on YouTube to see whose comment is in. I see Nick's at 2. All right, I also see the private chat we have right now is 111, and we see several 1s and several 2s, which is a product manager like the right career for you? And also you don't have product management experience, what should you do? Okay, great, cool. In that case, I will speed up on the H1B session and also spend more time talking about product manager roles and responsibilities. And on top of that, figure out how can we help you to package your prior experience to gain product management experience. Perfect. Cool. All right. So regardless why you're here today, I just want you to know that I will be fully supporting you throughout the entire process because I have been there before. I was lost. I wasn't confident earlier in my career. I was one of the people in the long pipeline trying to talk to recruiters, figure out my next career journey. That wasn't a fun experience. I wish I had a mentor earlier in my career that can help me out. All right, a quick introduction of who I am. I am Dr. Nancy Lee, a director product YouTuber and youngest engineer in Ph.D. and recently featured on Forbes. Regarding product management, and actually I start to focus on teaching product management and really emphasize on high efficiency. Myself is also an immigrant. I'm the first person who actually went to college in my family. And I'm also ballroom dancer for 3 years. And comment on the chat if you're also the first person in your family doing things, or you could be also you love dancing as well. So let me learn more about you as well. Cool. All right. So a quick introduction of who I am and also how we get started on the product manager journey. So this wasn't a beautiful picture of myself. As you know, I am a YouTuber. This is one of the earlier picture of my career that I was a systems engineer at Shell Oil. And at the time, to be honest, I didn't have any customer satisfaction. I didn't like what I do. I had no customer interaction, no product management experience. And to be honest, the company intentionally slowed down my green card process. So that was very brutal 3 years of my career. I wish I had known and was introduced to the concept of product management so that I can transition earlier, which is also one of the reasons I'm sharing with you guys, so that you don't need to go through the same pain as I had. And then I started to learn about product management and learn what the best networking strategies 3 years into my engineering job. And guess what? Within 3 months, I got 2 product manager offers with no product management experience. And my salary also went up by 30%. My first product actually received the Mayor's Best Practice Award. And during COVID, I started to figure out what's the next strategy for me to move up my career ladder. As you might know that I transitioned from an individual contributor to a director product within 4 years. And I really wanted to jump into the leadership position. So I started to apply for new jobs in April 2020. That's when everybody was pulling the jobs off the market. I started, okay, throw me into the Shark Tank to figure out if I can get an offer as a director or not. So eventually I applied for identified 20 jobs, network with 10 people, interviewed 6 companies and got 4 offers. 3 offers a director product, the other offer a senior product manager offer. And the reason I'm teaching all of you guys today is that actually my long-term goal is only to build a few hundred schools in China, is to teach kids from middle-income families entrepreneurship. And the reason this is a very important mission for me was because I was one of those kids, to be honest with you guys. I only came to the US with $800 in my pocket. My family was never rich. I never had a family vacation until age of 20. And my family mainly focused on how can we put food on the table. Never think about vacation. That was for rich people. So I was to be honest, it's very vulnerable to admit that you were poor. But I understand, I know that there are thousands, could be millions of Nancys back there who didn't come from a rich family, never know this opportunity to study in the US, to experience better education, to understand what is entrepreneurship, to start to change their career, even if you don't come from a rich family. So that's why my long-term goal is help those kids out. That's also why I started to teach people around me the unique skill set I have developed and continue to quickly get promoted as a director of product within 4 years. And I start to notice a very big problem around me. Given I work as COX and actually it's ex-COX, ex-Verizon, ex-Shell Oil, I've interviewed 100 candidates already. As a hiring manager, I noticed something very crazy. I was the only female manager out of 100 people product management organization. And on top of that, when I look around, I said, why I was the only person in this room. And actually the 100 people product management organization was in a Fortune 500 company. It's not a small company. It's just not many people look at me who is on the decision making table. And I noticed that women or international professionals in general, we don't know how to stand up for ourselves. We don't know how to start to let people know about our achievement, build a strong brand, and eventually, quote, sell ourselves confidently to the employer and to our bosses. So therefore, we're always being perceived as worker bee, not a leader, which is also the type of problem I'm trying to solve today. That's why I'm teaching you how to advance your career as a product manager and starting by getting your foot into the door. And I start to teach people how to do product management on my YouTube channel. So you can take a screenshot of this YouTube, the barcode right now. And once you take a screenshot, you can directly go into my YouTube channel and subscribe to learn all the free content I have produced. And one of the must-watch video is when I teach the how to get promoted as a minority, female minority. And when I went live, share you all the behind-the-scenes secret. And feel free to check out this video as well. And then by applying my advice on YouTube, people start to see results. This is crazy. Right before Christmas, we got 5 offers in 7 days. People getting offers from fan companies, Amazon, Microsoft, LinkedIn, Bain, and also including TikTok. I didn't add TikTok yet. It just happened. The offer came like 2 weeks ago. And we also got offers from other companies. They may not be fan company, but very well known, such as CVS, Honeywell. And on top of that, we also have really hot unicorn startups, such as like Wise and Reddit Labs. And actually, Reddit Lab is a owner of NoSQL database. So they're really growing very quickly, and also including some Chinese big tech giants such as Baidu. I want you to start to think about to make your 2020 your breakthrough year as well. All right. So lots of my students had broke the glass ceilings and make themselves into the next level. And I also know that we together have experienced vulnerability in the stock market. We also know that how come had changed the hiring process during during this pandemic, and you want to be ahead of the game. And I want you to start to think about, imagine what does it look like if you can join your dream company and the dream team and do the job you're passionate about. So let me teach you how to get your first product manager job on H1B. So let me ask you first question, what's your background? So come on the chat on YouTube or directly my private chat. So let me know what's your background so that I can tailor my talk to you. So come on the chat comment on the chat about what's your background. So I see people background in like data scientists, engineering, and okay. Oh, someone is also private message me. She's a born dancer +1, finance and engineering. This is amazing. Awesome. Cool. All right. So let me continue to, it's material science with PhD. Jack, you got the same major. My PhD was in material science as well. That's very fun. That's awesome. Very cool. Do you work in material science field as well? I also see that Nick is in business analyst space. That's cool. All right, cool. So I no longer work in material science anymore, as you guys can tell, but very excited to hear that people were in the same space. That's awesome. Cool. All right. So let's answer this first question. What does a product manager do? So what does a product manager do? So in a high level, product manager is really performing the following four functions. In a high level, we are a CEO product. We take any concept to a product launch. That's what the product manager do. And break it down, we actually manage profit and loss, especially once you become relatively senior as a product manager. So you are managing the profit and loss. And as a CEO of the product, you are working with sales and marketing, developers, legal, leading the entire team to help you to realize your product vision. On top of that, product manager also needs to know how to sell your product. So let me break it down for you. What does it mean, right? What is from concept to product launch? So when you do concept product launch, which means as a product manager, you interview customers, you develop minimum viable product, which is MVP. And we also launch the product. After you develop it, it's very important to see the revenue flowing into the door. So it's about launching the product. And we also manage profit loss. So let me define this for you. Managing profit loss right now means that you are responsible for bringing revenue to the company. So you need to manage your balance sheet, and people will looking at you to say, okay, it's your product making money. Let me give you half year or like 3 months, see if making money or not. So it's a little bit pressure to be under high pressure, not a little bit, under high pressure to make money for your company. And as a CEO of the product, we need to learn this, how to lead a cross-functional teams. So who are the ones working in the cross-functional teams? They are sales, engineering, and legal, customer success. And all those people are like, quote, working with you, but they don't report to you. Here's the difference, right? So product manager love to influence without authority. So you don't really manage other people, but you need to lead other people, which make your job even tougher, which is also make it very fun, to be honest. And as a product manager, you're also the biggest advocate of your product. Hey, if you have looking into any of my prior training and any conferences I spoke at, you understand how much I love my product. I'm so passionate about selling my product to my customers, because as a product manager, we frequently speak at conferences telling what product can help others to do. And to be honest, you create an effect in the market, make people want to check it out. Oh, what kind of product she's selling or what kind of product she's building. You need to create the pitch deck as well. And then you train your sales teams to like pitch to your customers. So all of this goes into behind the scenes, what the product managers need to do. Now here's a full list of product managers' roles and responsibilities. So you should write product requirements and like write user story, prioritize product features, work with engineers, and work with like software architect, working a cross-functional team, design go-to-market strategy, build MVP, and sell your product as well. And of course, you need to conduct customer interview. So the reason I highlight the color slightly different here is that I know lots of people today, you might be like, oh, I don't really know everything here, but I know some of it. So really search very deep to think about, do you know some of this, what I list right here? And what I list here actually is lots of things I have done when I was an engineer. I have done everything here, but I wrote a lot of requirements. I did architecture for my product. I work in cross-functional teams. All of this is helping me to bridge the gap between what I was before as an engineer into a product manager. You should start thinking really hard about this as well. All right, so here comes the important question. So what are the product manager skills, right? What kind of skills do you need to master even before you become a product manager? Here's the thing, product managers need to have the skill set as what I described, going directly into the defining roadmap, like writing requirement. That's the bread and butter for product managers. That's something everybody needs to do as if you are the product manager, like no problem, for sure. Now, the next step is that what are the different kind of like soft skills you need to master as a product manager? I have listed for you here, and all based on the importance, like leadership. Leadership is crazy important. How would you lead a team without authority? This is very, very crazy and important. So let me first of all define what I mean by lead a team without authority, which means that none of these people, what I described earlier, is reporting to you. Yes, they do not report to you, and they work with you. They have a different boss. They have a very different bonus structure than you. Hey guys, this is very straightforward. But however, in this case, how can you let them do things you want them to do? How can you provide feedback if they do not give you the right outcome you're looking for? That's where comes in leadership and also influence without authority. And number 3 is lots of people do not talk about, but I really want to emphasize this, is customer empathy. Everybody needs to have customer empathy if you want to be a great product manager. To be honest, I deeply feel my customer pain point. I love sitting with my customers. I love talking to my customers. And all the product managers need to have very strong customer empathy so that you can build a product that truly solves problems for your end users as well. And on top of that, you also need to learn the basic analytical skills because you need to process data. And you also need to have the public speaking skills because, as I said, the higher level you go, the more likely you're going to present your product, talking about your product, pitch your product in conferences and many different environments you're in as well. So therefore, I recommend you to start to practice your public speaking skills right now. Don't wait until you get product manager job. To be honest, if the chicken and egg problem, you better learn ahead of time before, oh, after you get a job, I will learn immediately on the job. No, doesn't work that way. If you don't learn now, it's likely, even if you get lucky, get a job, you don't know how to do it, you're getting fired, to be honest. All right, so the new H-1B policy, we talked about this before, that looks like most people who want to join this program more interest in product management side, not the H1B policy. So therefore, I'm going to power through the H1B policy very, very quickly. All right. So the new H1B policy came out, which is the latest one we have from the Biden, the government. And for all the H1B selection process, they put you into different levels, level 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what it said is that under the new regulation, the initial H1B visa subject to the cap will be awarded first to people in the highest of the 4 wages. There is some background noise. Maybe you can mute yourself. Okay, thank you. Will be award the first people. Hold on, let me. Sorry, excuse me, guys. Let me mute people quickly, and also change host. Maybe my co-host can help me to mute others.
Yes, please. You can.
Yeah, my host can mute others now. I just transfer my host. You can mute others. Thank you. Cool. All right. So according to the Department of Labor, we have to give the H1B visa to highest levels, which is if you are director level, you're on H1B, yeah, you are 100% getting the H1B quota. If at very, very entry level, your salary is lower than other people, the likelihood for you to get an H1B is very low. So that's how they prioritize based on your wages. And so there's also a quote and from the government website. What this means is that the level 1 is in danger. So after the highest paid workers are selected, position will be chosen depends on descending order through the remaining levels until the cap has been reached. So USCIS predict that under the new regulation, no workers paid in level 1 entry level wages will be selected for H1B visa. So it's a little bit dangerous. So therefore, let me tell you, if you are a product manager, what does this mean? Is your salary high or low in the market space? Are you using the right strategy, right? Especially like salary is quite important right now. So product manager getting paid between 80 grand to 300 grand right now in the market. Some of them, they're like product manager at Facebook. You know what? I did market research today. I actually building a new video about different kind of career levels, career paths for product managers. I realized that Facebook has the same level for product managers. They're all called the product manager, but product manager, the same title, but their salary varies from level 4 all the way to level 7. What I give you this is more like median and entry level product manager salary. Doesn't include the level 7 product manager salary at Facebook. So therefore, make sure you're clear with this. Now, which also means that the weekly salary of a product manager is between 2 grand to 6.5 grand. The sign-on bonus could be between 5 grand to 100 grand, very high. I also have collected some like entry-level product manager salary here. I don't think we should spend a lot of time here because everyone want to talk about product management. So I'm going to skip those slides very quickly. You can check out my YouTube video where I talk about how much a product manager get paid. So this one has way more detailed information of how much product manager get paid, where I get those sources as well. Cool. All right. So what is telling us that you need to get paid more during the new H1B policy. So therefore you can get more offers. So the question is how to get paid more. In a high level, I recommend you doing this. Work for big companies, negotiate a higher salary, and also package a bonus into a base salary if you can. This really requires very strong negotiation skills. You can check out more negotiation framework and also live webinars I taught before. Feel free to check out there. Later on is 1 hour free workshop I teach. So yeah, go check out there. Today we don't go deeper, but it's very important that you can negotiate really high salary, especially the base salary. That's very critical for you to get an H1B visa. So through this, the program, actually what I want to show you is that do not feel like, oh, I'm on H1B, things are very difficult. No, actually a student of mine, this Troy, and himself not only got a product manager offer, he also got like green card sponsorship right away as soon as he joined the company. The key for him to achieve this kind of success was he transitioned from engineering into product management, but he really focused on how can he become the top 1% candidate? How can he really sell himself into a new job? How can he learn product management skills ahead of time so that he can be on top of the game? All right, so the secret number 3 I'm going to share with you is the differences between product manager, product marketing manager, technical program manager, all those new terms. So what are the differences? And I bet lots of you guys want to know the differences. Let me tell you the details. And also why I know all the differences, because I have worked with them before. I also manage like product marketing, like customer success, different kind of functions before. So therefore I know those functions very well and what the difference is. How do we really work together? Cool, let's dive in. All right, so first of all, let's compare product manager versus project manager. So product manager is on the left. We are the CEO of product, which means we set the vision of the product. You can see project manager as a COO of the product. They do operations. They don't set the vision, but you cannot run a company without COO. They make sure everything goes smoothly, everything runs on time. They manage all the operations for you. So they are your right-hand man. And as CEO setting the product vision, the COO is trying to planning project timeline. And the CEO is doing customer interview, conduct market research, and COO is trying to allocate resources to help you to build a product. As the CEO, which is the product manager, is trying to develop strategic project plan, the plan for how to enter the market, crush your competition, help your product to grow significantly. That's the strategic plan. And the project manager, the COO, is trying to figure out, monitor the project completion. And the CEO trying to figure out how can I communicate my vision to stakeholders. And the COO is trying to figure out how can I communicate the progress to stakeholders. You see the difference between two different roles, and I hope by now you know it very, very well during the CEO and COO comparison. Now, what's the difference between product manager and the product marketing manager? I call those two roles, one is a CEO, one is CMO of product, CEO product and CMO of product. So the differences is a CEO will set product vision, and CMO is trying to design the go-to-market strategy, different kind of marketing campaign, how can make people pay for this. So one person design vision, the other person design the GTM, go-to-market strategy. Now, CEO is trying to identify customer pain points, and CMO is trying to figure out why we allocate resources, so that like marketing resources to bring the right people into customer interviews are gonna help you out, right? Now, CEO and here is trying to cultivate business value of your product. And CMO is trying to figure out how to create a customer-facing messaging. CEO is trying to sell to early adopters, because as I said, we're responsible for P&L, and we actually lots of time we're selling to early adopters. For example, in my career, all the time, whenever I launch a product or even pre-sell any kind of product, my sales team will bring me into the customer meeting. So they do the introduction, they set up meeting, they do the customer qualification, and they bring me in to close the deals. So we need to sell to early adopters, especially when the product is new. You are the best person who has the most knowledge of your product. The CMO would like to train and empower sales teams. They create those decks and they train like sales teams. They help them to think about the product messaging. So basically support them throughout the whole process so that the sales team can sell your product and also bringing more revenue for you as well. So that's the difference between product manager and product marketing manager. You see the CEO and CMO differences. Hopefully this is helpful. If you're still confused, and feel free to comment on the chat so I can explain more during the Q&A session. The secret number 4 we're going to share with you today is the case study, how I transitioned from an engineer to a product manager. And there are many different ways to become a product manager given the time. We really do not have too much time to cover many different ways to become a product manager. I want to use this as an inspiration for you guys to learn what's the best way to become a product manager. And as an example, when I transitioned from engineer to a product manager, that was I think 4 or 5 years ago. 4 years ago, when I actually was a systems engineer at Shell Oil at the time. You can see the working for Shell Oil. It's very funny. When they designed the jumpsuit, it's designed for guys. It was so huge on me. Yeah, that was me. That's the working environment I'm in, right? And then someone just passed me a job opening saying, hey, you know what, Nancy, Verizon is looking for technical product manager of IoT smart cities. Do you want to give a shot? To be honest, at the time, I was like, I know what is smart cities, but I don't know how to make it smart, you know? I have heard of IoT. That was in 2016. To be honest, guys, I wasn't that smart at the time knowing what is IoT. IoT was just new. I was so ashamed. I haven't even heard of IoT before I even went into the interviews the process. So I immediately Googled what is IoT. And then I start to learn how to speak the language of product manager before I even get into the interview. So there is a specific videos. I suggest all of you guys to check it out regarding 9 steps to become a product manager, which is the second most watched video on my YouTube channel. Feel free to go there to watch the whole thing. We do not have the time to cover all the 9 steps. To be honest, the 9 steps will lead to another 1-hour training for you guys. So this is the high level, so you guys can learn the high level framework in my YouTube channel. And now the next step is after you learn how to speak the language product manager, you need to understand and identify the overlapping responsibilities between your current role and your product manager, future product manager role. So the way to do it using like engineering position that I was in as an example, as a case study. For example, I discovered that actually I wrote and translated product requirements as an engineer. Yeah, I was systems engineer. I wrote lots of requirements so that other engineer can work with me to work on those requirements together. And I also developed a system architecture diagram. That's great, because as a product manager, we are responsible to really thinking like bigger picture. You should be able to communicate with engineer. Actually, the fact that I developed system architecture diagram is a plus. And I also realize that I need to familiarize with the technology you will build. And that's the reason I started looking into what is smart cities, what's IoT. And for you guys, the same thing. For example, if you are a software engineer in the AR, VR space, I will look into the product manager in the VR, AR space, because you're already subject matter expert in this specific space. And you come in to directly say, oh, I know the technology inside out. I'm familiar with the segment. I also know what kind of product I built before as an engineer works, what doesn't work. This really give you lots of credibilities. So therefore, I recommend you guys to start to think about, how to use the best strategy for me to enter the right market. For example, if you're building VR goggle, the chance of you getting a job as a product manager in blockchain companies is low, because those who currently are not related, they might be related sometime in the future. So pick the right industry using the same technology you have built in the past, okay? And also learn the future technology you will be building, so it will help. And at the same time, you also start to make friends with product managers, because they can help you out, give you advice, and tell you how they make the transition as well. All right, so here's the idea, that how would you build a product ahead of time. Here is something very important that can be applicable to everybody else, even if you are not a software engineer or any kind of engineer like I am. I was just giving you an example. Actually, lots of my students, they are not like any engineering background. I have student who is in like MBA student in marketing who transition into product management, so they can make it happen. You can make it happen as well. So here is what you need to do, right? You need to develop a product ahead of time, which means you need to develop your own MVP, okay? So actually acting as a product manager before you become a product manager is critical, because this is a very competitive market. You're better to learn ahead of time and also gain product sense. by experimenting, building your own product. And you also need to gain experience by doing. That's very critical. That's why I encourage you guys to start to build your product portfolio, to learn it. And so that you can, guess what? You can reduce the risk of getting fired. Here's something lots of people do not tell you behind the scenes. As a hiring manager, I know how the decision were made, how people were promoted, how people were fired, and different ways. There are lots of secrets I know just based on the position I'm in. Here's the thing, for example, if you join Amazon, Amazon has a 10%, bottom 10% elimination rule. Every year, the bottom 10% will get kicked out of the company. So you just want to fake it and just don't really learn product management. Let's say you get lucky, you pass the interview. The bottom 10% getting eliminated. How can you make sure you are the top candidate? So therefore, I recommend you to learn ahead of time. Don't play the game, I'm just trying to fake it, because you will never fake it until you make it. And to be honest, this is a hard lesson I learned earlier in my career. And this doesn't, I know it doesn't work for me, and might work for someone else. So earlier in my career, my manager told me this and saying, Nancy, you should just fake it until you make it. At the time, I just like, I really don't feel like I have the skills, connection. At the time, my English was pretty broken as well. And guess what? The person who gave me this advice himself is like 6 feet tall white man. Just this advice doesn't apply to a 5 feet tall Asian woman with broken English, to be honest. So you need to really value and understand what kind of advice you receive from who, what kind of advice is going to be feasible to you as well. And also, guess what? The person who told me that I need to fake it until I make it, guess what happened to him? He stayed in the same position for 6 years. He also he got depromoted once. Fake it until you make it never get you far. So therefore, I suggest all of you guys really learn your solid skills before you even become a product manager. Now, you need to build a product portfolio. There are many different ways to build it. On my YouTube channel, I talk about product portfolio and 14 different projects, 13 different projects you can build your product portfolio. And you can go to my website, drnancylee.com, and also my YouTube channel to download it and learn more about this. And today, because sake of time, I want to really highlight on the best way to build a product portfolio is help with a startup. I really love this concept, helping with startup, because startups, they are, guess what? They have lots of new ideas, and they have lots of ideas, but they don't have enough resources, don't have enough people, they don't have enough money. So therefore, it's best way for you to volunteer the startup. Even if you get paid a minimum wage, why not? And you go there to gain some experience so that you can build your product portfolio. Okay, so this is a bonus I talked about earlier. As I mentioned, my student get an offer recently at TikTok. I got connected with a director of product at TikTok, and you can scan this barcode and join the list where you can directly download the referral to TikTok, and you will get the email address of the hiring manager directly. And at the same time, last year TikTok, when the hiring manager reached out to me, he was hiring for a position in his team. In 2021, he will hire 44 positions for his team. So get ready and really get opportunities, which is put right in front of you. All right. And this also a reminder is that I want to remind people, if you want to learn in depth how I got 4 product manager offers in 60 days without applying online, and you can check out my website, drnancylee.com, to sign up for the free 1-hour training. And in this masterclass, I will cover the right strategy, how to make it happen, also how my student gets so many offers lately. And just go ahead to check it out. And actually, I'm teaching live on next Tuesday and Thursday about how we together make it happen. What kind of tip and tricks is most effective for you to transition into product management. I also have Product Manager Accelerator. Feel free to check it out on my website, drnancylee.com. Today, we don't have time to talk about this in details, but I welcome everybody who is serious about becoming a product manager to come submit your application and see if the right program for you. The way to contact me is drnancylee.com. My email is nancy@drnancylee.com. So everything Dr. Nancy Lee, the handle. So feel free to take a screenshot right now, and you can follow me and message me later on. Actually, the best way to connect with me, send me a DM, is through Instagram. So feel free to do that as well. All right, so I also have a PM communities where you can check out here. In the PM communities, you can take a screenshot. One is the product manager referral group on WeChat. The other one is on LinkedIn, where people go find partners to do mock interview as well. Feel free to take a screenshot and join us. And finally, I want to remind all of you guys to share on social media. Whatever you learned today, anything you were inspired, please share, because it will help you to directly build your brand as someone who has solid leadership and really interested in growing your career. And yeah, feel free to share on social media and tag me, Dr. Nancy Lee. Finally, I just want to share a quick story with all of you guys. As I said earlier, that my employer intentionally trying to slow down my green card process. And guess what? After 11 years, how crazy. After 11 years in the US, I finally got my green card. So the message I want to give it to all of you guys is that the people who cannot achieve their dream wasn't because they're not capable, was because they gave up too early. So I recommend all of you guys really set very clear goal. If you think product management is the right path for you to achieve the next chapter of your career, you should stick to it, find out the best resources, best guidance. And I wish all of you guys good luck. All right, so I'm going to turn this back to our host, because we're going to accept some questions through both YouTube and also private channel. Then we will do Amazon gift card raffle process to pick the 2 lucky audience. I'm sending this. I'm also putting my contact information here. Once again, you can take a screenshot, and I'm handing this back to Ewan. Let me also turn on my camera as well. Ewan, go ahead.
Yeah, yes, please. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Nancy Lee, for sharing all these valuable information or insights with us. So it's really really informative, and thank you again. Right now, so it's almost the end. So it's the Q&A session. So feel free to unmute yourself or type in the text in the chat box to let us know if you have any questions or anything. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I got a question. So, so as for Dr. Nancy Lee, you have worked in different industry, for example, like the traditional oil industry or like the tech industry. So I'm wondering, what are the differences? Is there any differences between the PM job in different industries, or they are more kind of similar to each other? How like, for example, how to decide which kind of industry and a PM job I want to transition to?
Okay, great question. And actually, regarding, yes, there are differences between different kind of like product manager jobs in different companies, and different company definition of product management is very different. And first of all, I do want to let you guys know regarding how do we see product management, the definition in different companies. If you, based on the type of company, you can tell how are they different. If you join any company such as they are selling, let's say, different kind of parts. Let's say I have some MIT classmates. They join company which sell some like construction component. So their construction component, like pipes, like different things, they are also product manager, but the managing physical product, which is pipes and product catalog. So that's a different kind of product manager, even if they have the same title, but the roles and responsibilities and also the day-to-day work are very, very different. So they are different even if they have the same title. Now let's go back to tech industry, right? So most likely in the tech industry, the product manager's roles and responsibilities are similar. They might vary a little bit based on title. As I said, for example, in Facebook, their title from level 4 to level 7 is all like product manager, but do you know that level 7 product manager at Facebook is the equivalent of a director of like in Google and also Amazon. So which means their roles and responsibility for level 7 is in Facebook is very different, right? So really understand the title could really lead to different kind of responsibilities, seniorities as well. Now there's also hardware product manager, right? For hardware product manager, it's different. If you only work on hardware product, 100% hardware, no differences for no interaction with software, yes, that will be very different. That's hardware product manager. I've seen hardware product manager ask me questions towards what's a different kind of like go-to-market strategy, pricing strategy for software product. It's very different. But if you're in the software space, building software product, the roles and responsibilities are very similar, just the type of product you're building is different. So you just need to learn different kind of subject and domain to be a better product manager.
I see.
Yeah, I have a question here. So someone said the TikTok landing page is not responsive. Yes, I'm going to put a new one here. I think one of those are a little bit old. Yeah, feel free to go to my YouTube channel for one who is already in my YouTube channel, and you can directly at the most of the email of the video description, I have links saying that, hey, that's where you can opt in into the email newsletters, things like that. You can opt in that way. Once you opt in, and you can email me directly saying that, hey, Nancy, I want a TikTok referral. I think, yeah, the link might be old, the QR code. I'm sorry about that. We should have updated earlier. And we also have some questions on YouTube. Let me read it. Okay, so Mika said, lots of things right now is new to us. I just want to ask you for advice on how you think is the best way to ask people to open to changes and new process. And especially I work with really tenured teammates. Okay, Mika, that's a very good question regarding convincing your very tenured teammate to open to new processes. And that's actually lots of things I myself face as well. And also lots of us who actually like millennial or Gen Z entering the workforce right now, especially my millennial like student who's working for TikTok, those kind of companies, and very interesting. Yes, so especially, yes, you're dealing with very, very seasoned other team members. How would you help them to make changes? And step one is that you need to embrace who they are and also let them know you appreciate who they are. Because from their perspective, they think you're new, you don't really know things. Experience cannot be learned. It's like you say, you're too new, you need to get more experience. That's why you need to like be working as individual contributors. I'm going to be a director for a very long time, something like that. And this happened earlier in my career. People say, stay in your lane right now. You cannot be a director, you're too young, things like that. So first of all, you need to let them know that they have their own unique value and their experience definitely cannot be replaced. They're really caught out what they can bring to the table. And second, I will start to give them some examples and start to bring influences. If you tell them to the face, I don't think they will listen to you. I will find out some allies in the company who is like you, who like to make some changes, and those allies can make an influence as well. And third, when you communicate with them and showing those new steps that things can improve at different things, I would just bring them into decision-making process. You tell them how this is like complement what they did before, and are they open to see if it's change, or you can just directly show some outcome of the changes you can implement as well. That's something I will start trying, and let me know how it goes.
Thank you for the sharing. Is there any other questions from either from YouTube or from the Zoom? Like, feel free to type your question.
Yeah, YouTube have lots of questions here, very active. I think people are trying to fight for the Amazon gift card on YouTube. Very good. So I'm reading the YouTube questions here. Very, very funny. Nick asked, can you take the first MVP to market? That's a very interesting question. So you bring your first MVP to your customers to hear the feedback from your customers. not to take it to the market. You take your MMP, minimum market product, to the market. You don't take your MVP to the market. The way you decide it is that MVP in general is not a sellable product. It's something that you validate your value proposition and you bring it to early adopters, see if somebody is willing to open the wallet to you. So I assume your question is about how you bring your MVP to your early adopters, right? So the many ways to do it. If you, depends on it's a B2C product or B2B product. If you're building a B2C product, let's say it's a competitor of TikTok. Yeah, could be. And a few years later, something might be different again. Let's say it's a competitor of TikTok. How would you turn a competitor B2C TikTok product into a market? There's several ways to do it. And first of all, you can direct to consumer marketing. You can run ads to have someone to try out your product, step one. And step two is that you can start to like create your own communities. Like I have my own product management communities. If I want to introduce any MVP into the market, I will start to try out with my own communities, because your community has been following you for a very long time, and they have been discovering your resources. They have been trying to figure out, okay, so Dr. Nancy Lee has providing lots of like the free advice all the time. Oh, today she has this new MVP and she'd like us to give it a try. Maybe I can try it out. So build your communities first, or even find other people's communities and get permission to introduce your MVP to those communities as well. And third one is bringing your friends and families. Yeah, so bring your friends and families to be early adopters of the MVP. So they are the ones who are nicer to you and also has highest tolerance in terms of like not fully complete product. Now, if you build B2B product, and the most important part of B2B product, introduce your product to the market, is building relationship with some prior existing customers who trust you, and you bring them in as early adopters. For B2B product, especially it's a very early MVP when it's not fully mature, we don't run ads. You only run ads when you feel like it's MVP. I'm sorry, it's MMP, not MVP. So for your very early version MVP, you will start to bring your good friends who are friendly people, who are also enterprise customers, who start to try out your your product, your MVP. Cool. There's many questions here. People are really fighting for the gift card on YouTube. Hey, people in private channel, if you don't want it, we'll give it both to the YouTube guys. They have more questions.
Question in the Zoom chat.
Okay, like, you can unmute yourself to ask questions if you want.
Jack, I think. Do you want to unmute yourself? Or I can just read a question. So Jack asked, I know that a LinkedIn profile is useful for job searching and networking. What is the importance to build an Instagram profile, networking, to show your professional experience or broad experience?
So Instagram profile is more, put this way, it's more for your friends to learn about you. People on Instagram are more friends. For example, I have people, so I help nonprofits raise funding. So this December, I helped four nonprofits to raise funding. Within 7 days, we raised $4,000. For example, for those nonprofit, they are my friends. They are not customers. So I directly tag them or interact with them on Instagram. So they like that way as well. Of course, I tag them on LinkedIn as well. So on Instagram, it's more bring your friends to help you out, to see the other side of you. So that's important. And especially, for example, when I talk about I support nonprofit and those other nonprofit, and actually lots of nonprofits start to reach out to me or just say, hey, I raise funding for you for free because I'm a YouTuber. I support only certain type of nonprofit who are in the education space helping underserved communities, and people just reach out to me. So that's a way to get your message out through Instagram. Yeah, more for friends, not your boss. Don't let your boss know your Instagram account.
Yeah. I think thank you, Dr. Nancy. You have answered plenty of the question for us. So maybe just one last question from the Zoom. Like Yu Chen asked, I'm wondering how to properly read customer. Yeah, you can unmute yourself, Yu Chen.
Thanks, thank you, Nancy. My question is more for like, I actually missed the very first part of this speech. Thanks so much. And currently I'm working as a people manager, but I'm not a product manager, but a lot of occasions that we actually have to talk with customers to really know what their really needs and to build a product for them. And by the same time working with the product manager as well, but we're not well trained. We have a very hard time to read the customer, that every time when we have the meeting to let them know what is the requirement for our team, we actually got a lot of requirements. And for a lot of requirements, we actually don't really have a good strategy to sort out what are the most important ones. And basically to understand the MVP. But I also want to know, like, for our better strategy, how to train the customer to let themselves know that what exactly they basically need.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good question. So I assume your customer are external customer, not internal customer, right?
Oh, they're actually internal customers.
Interesting. So
yeah.
Your customers, can you tell me more regarding what kind of product do you build for your internal customer in a high level? No.
Okay. So for example, like we are working on some, like the service team, but a service team needs a dashboard, something to provide some data analysis on it. And that's for the internal use. Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. So if you communicate with internal stakeholders, and to be honest, this is slightly different from external stakeholders. Internal stakeholders, first of all, you need to understand the company politics. People do not talk about politics publicly, to be honest, not enough. There's so much politics within the company, but people don't talk about it. I'm okay to talk about it because I want to help you guys to break the glass ceiling. First of all, you need to read and understand the company politics between your team and the team you're serving. If you don't understand the relationship or is any ongoing politics between those two teams, there's many different things going on. As a director myself, I see more than you guys see, to be honest. There are many different hidden things that you guys do not know. So there's a politics behind it. So understand the politics first. And who can help you to understand the politics is your boss or your ally in the other team, or somebody who is very connected. So for example, before I became a manager, I was very connected. So if you can point out who will be connected and knowing lots of information within the company, that's the person. You need to identify those person who can tell you what's going on with the politics within the company. Understand the politics first. Lots of people don't tell you the true secrets behind it, to be honest. Now, step 2 is that you're like, okay, they don't help us to prioritize. I cannot read them and very hard to communicate, right? If that's the truth, is that I will bring them into the decision-making process very early. I will have many stakeholder meetings ahead of time. Even before I will start to work with others, 3 months ahead of time. So, okay, eventually I'm going to work with them, or this guy, or this director, or this whoever decision maker sometime down the road. 3 months ahead of time, I will set up some coffee or even virtual coffee. Just, hey, we're going to work together sometime down the road. Right now, we haven't get started the relationship, but I just want to learn more about you. You know, those kind of relationships to build ahead of time. And now when there is a time, so okay, tomorrow we need requirement from this guy. They don't help us to prioritize. They don't make it very clear to us. And then you can do 2 things. And first of all is that it's likely they don't understand their own requirement. They don't understand how to prioritize. Then you just need to help them, assuming they truly don't understand how the product management process work, what's important for them, right? You help them to think about how to prioritize. And step 2 was because just because they don't have time to explain to you, you really need to understand the rationale behind it. If they're playing politics, you need to reverse engineer the politics, right? And the third, if you have allies, they can help you out. They can point you saying that, or talk to the other person, help you, hey, this person cannot understand your requirement. I would just want to schedule more time on your calendar, things like that. In general, if there's no politics, your customers should be willing to tell you their requirement, and you should let your customer know that I'm working really hard on your requirement to create a dashboard for you. But if you do not help me to understand your full requirement, the result may not be something you're having, and the negative impact to your sales result or whatever result will be A, B, C, D will be really bad. So if there's no politics, you just need to provide rationale with that person. If there's a politics, you reverse engineer. Make sense?
Got it. Yeah, that's super helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, lots of things are politics. People don't talk about it, believe me.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Nancy Lee, for sharing and answering all these questions with today. So maybe we can move to the final step, the most exciting part. So maybe you can choose one from Zoom and one from YouTube. And anyone got chosen, please leave your Amazon email address. So
do you want to do a raffle for people who submit their questions? I think it's better. Do you want to do that?
I think that in that case, we may need to take some time to copy down those names and do the raffle. So I think maybe you can just choose the one that you're most impressed.
Okay, now just pick the best questions here, right? Okay.
You can choose one from Zoom and choose one from YouTube.
Oh, let's do this. I'm going to count. I'm going to give you a number. We can quickly count, right? I'm going to give you let's say I'm going to pick a number, and then when you count all the numbers, I'll put this way. Let's say number 7. The seventh person asking question on Zoom will be the person who was selected. And the 7th or the 14th question asked on YouTube will be selected. If we're over 14, you come back. If there's 13 question, we go back to the first one. Make sense? So I'm going to count number 14 on YouTube. You count number 7.
Okay, so it's complicated. So so we have 2 questions. So you said the number 7. Then I think
if a 2 question, then you loop your 7th.
Then we got Jack from Zoom.
Okay. Let me count. We'll have lots on YouTube. Let me count 14. Okay.
Jack's your Amazon email address. You can private message me.
Someone submit 2 questions. They got count twice. That's very smart on YouTube. Let me count quickly. There are too many on YouTube. Sorry,
Yeah, but thank you again for all the audience, or like either on Zoom or on YouTube. Thank you for coming to the webinar today, and thank you, Dr. Nancy. It's the answer.
I have a winner. So the winner on very good. The winner on YouTube is Mika Ann. If you can contact the organizer, or you can email me. Okay, we don't have. Do you have organized email? You can email Mika if you're still alive. Email me at nancy.drnancy.com. I will connect you with the organizer. You will get your Amazon gift card. I assume Mika is still live right now.
Yeah.
Live?
Yeah, Nancy from YouTube. If you're still here right now, you got chosen for the Amazon gift card. So please message Nancy so we can send it to you later.
Yeah. So if Mika is not live right now, only for the live audience, right? If Mika is not live right now, the next one after Mika is Nick. So Nick, message me first if you're live. If not, Nick will get it. Both of you guys can email me at nancy@drnancy.com and let me know. You'll get Amazon gift card. This is very fun.
Oh, Nancy, Mika is Yeah.
You're live. Okay, so Mika, you get it. Email nancy@drnancy.com. I'll connect you with the organizer.
Thank you so much for coming today. And again, thank you, Dr. Nancy, for sharing today. Yeah.
All right, thank you for having me. All right, this is fun. Yeah, talk guys soon. Bye.
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 Yeah, Jake, I got the email address. Thank you.